Apologies for not posting this video up last weekend. I had some other things I had to do, like that Source Filmmaker video I did. But I think it's time I talk about the Nintendo Direct, starting with a short take on Mario's 40th anniversary. First off, we have a release date for the upcoming Super Mario Bros. Movie sequel, or rather, Super Mario Galaxy movie. The film will release on April 3rd, 2026. But why in the heck is Nintendo talking about a Mario Galaxy movie? What's going on? Actually, there's a solid explanation for this. If you missed out on Super Mario Galaxy via Super Mario 3D All-Stars, you're getting another chance with its re-release on October 2nd. Even more so, after such a long time, Super Mario Galaxy 2 will finally be available on Nintendo Switch. Both will be remastered with new updates and content, and both will be on a combined physical version. So if you missed out, here's your chance. Though some people are actually complaining about the price tag of at least $70, especially after the fact that Donkey Kong Country Returns came out at $60. A new Mario Tennis game is also coming out in February of next year, only on Nintendo Switch 2. 38 playable characters, an all-new Fever Racket system to mess up the game in spades, and an all-new adventure mode that'll leave you wanting your binky as Mario and his friends have been de-aged by a legion of monsters. And yes, there will be online modes for those who want to square off against others across the world. Next year on Nintendo Switch 2, Yoshi will embark on his own quest in Yoshi and the Mysterious Book. Journey inside a mysterious book and uncover the creatures that populate the pages. This game feels like a major evolution to the gameplay introduced in Yoshi's Island for the Super NES, and here's hoping this game does really well. Besides, aren't we missing Yoshi's Woolly World from the Wii U and 3DS era? Hello? But enough with the Mario 40th anniversary era. There are some other games that caught my attention, be it on the Switch, Switch 2, or especially both. The first non-Mario game that caught my attention, Tomodachi Life Living the Dream. While I am disappointed that the 3DS game is not being ported to the Nintendo Switch or the Switch 2, it's still nice to see a new Tomodachi Life game known as Living the Dream. And good news, this game is due out on spring of 2026, one of the many swan songs of the Switch 1. Oh, we just got an update on the Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection. This collection is due out on October 30th, just in time for Halloween. The physical version is due out on December 12th. Sadly, it looks like the Switch 2 edition may not be compatible with the Switch 1. Oh well. Now on to the subject of the Final Fantasy VII Remake. We have a release date for that as well, January 22nd, 2026. Sadly, this version will be a game key card due to requiring more space than what the current Switch 2 cards can hold. But on the flip side, this game will come with an optional God mode for those who want to speed run through the game or just want to relieve some stress. Now that's what I call a player choice. Due out on the 25th of this month is the long-awaited game from Supergiant Games, Hades 2. As the Princess of the Underworld, you must explore through and take on the forces of the Titan of Time. The Switch 2 edition will be complete on the cart and will also work with Switch 1 systems. Now that's something worth collecting. Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment, which is a Switch 2 exclusive, will release on November 6th of this year. As with any Nintendo games worth its salt, this game will be complete on the cart. But whoa, Nelly! This game is like a whopping 44.9 gigabytes. Far more than Age of Calamity's 11.1 gigabytes. What did they do to cram all of that into the game? Square Enix has announced one of its swan songs for Nintendo Switch 1 that's also coming to Nintendo Switch 2. A full-on remake of Dragon Quest VII Fragments of the Forgotten Past, originally released on the PlayStation 1 and later remade on the Nintendo 3DS. This version is due out on February 5th of next year. Sadly, the Switch 2 edition is 100% a game key card, but the Switch 1 version isn't, so even if I can't upgrade, I still have a means of playing this game on the Switch 2. And right out of left field is a Nintendo Classics announcement, Virtual Boy. This will require either a cardboard accessory or the Virtual Boy accessory just to play these games. Though in my personal opinion, they should give players the option to play these games on a single screen, be it on the Switch 1 or Switch 2 screen, or on the TV screen. Yes, it means we won't get the 3D effect, but if it means streaming these formerly lost games on Twitch, YouTube, or otherwise, so be it. Stardew Valley has always been a staple of gaming since February of 2016, and the Nintendo Switch is no exception. But now the Switch 2 is getting its own update to the Farm Sim Classic. Due out later this year, the Switch 2 edition will provide some updates not found in the Switch 1 edition, like local co-op 4-player mode, which also supports game share with Switch 1 owners. How cool is that? After so long in development, Metroid Prime 4 now has a release date, December 4th of this year. Finally! Just like with Hollow Knight Silksong, fans have been waiting for a long time to see Samus's new adventure come out on the Switch and Switch 2. Even more so, the Switch 2 edition will be worth it since it's not only going to be complete on the cart, but it's also compatible with the Switch and the Switch 2. Fingers are crossed for the Metroid Prime 2 and 3 remasters. Nintendo, don't screw this up. Not one to let Animal Crossing hog the spotlight, Pokemon Pokopia will turn the Pocket Monsters into a real-life simulation game. Due out next year, you play as a Ditto transformed to a human as you build your little utopia for the Pokemon that in some ways pays tribute to Minecraft and Dragon Quest Builders 1 and 2. It's a nice game, I'll give you that, but I still would crave to see some of the older games get ported, remastered, or remade on Nintendo Switch 1 or 2. Think of the money, Nintendo. For those who checked out Danganronpa on Nintendo Switch, a remake of Danganronpa 2, Goodbye Despair, is coming out on the Switch and Switch 2 in 2026, called Danganronpa 2X2. In addition to the main game, this will also include additional content not found in the PlayStation Portable and Vita editions. Thank goodness there is a Switch 1 edition for those who enjoy collecting Switch 1 carts. Well, unless Spike Chunsoft puts out a Switch 2 edition on the cart. Fat chance. 2026 is going to be a bigger year for the Switch 2 when it comes to third-party support. Koei Tecmo will be putting out Dynasty Warriors Origins, originally released on the PlayStation 5, Xbox Series systems, and PC. Monster Hunter Stories 3 Twisted Reflection has a release date of March 13th, 2026. If you haven't checked out the first two games, they are both available on the Switch 1. Even Resident Evil is joining in on the fun, not only with Resident Evil 7 and 8, but also the new Resident Evil Requiem, the newest chapter in the Resident Evil / Biohazard franchise. Now let's see if the proper versions of the remake of Resident Evil 2 and 3 will be coming out as well. No cloud editions, please. Wrapping up the event was an all-new chapter in the Fire Emblem franchise, Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave. Due out next year, this game will put your skills to the test as you lead armies against the opposition. Yeah, I know there was a recent Fire Emblem Musou game that was a sequel to Three Houses, but I wonder if we'll get a third Musou Fire Emblem game. Koei Tecmo, I'm waiting! Oh, I just remembered! Capcom just announced Mega Man Star Force Legacy Collection. That's due out next year. How did that slip under my radar? I'll have to be honest, my biggest complaint about the Direct, besides not enough classics coming to the Switch or Switch 2, too many games to buy. Oh boy, what is this world coming to if I'm feeling too overwhelmed by the number of games coming out to both systems, even when the former is on its swan song era? Oh well, only time will tell what more will be on its way. Anyway, I may do an opinion piece about games that deserve to be preserved, be it good or bad, just in the future. But until then, I'm switching on out of here.